Hi there, I'm Beth, and today I want to show you how I made this Middie Blythe carry bag for my custom doll Looky Loo. You might have seen my previous doll carry case video where I made a more boxy style bag for a full-size Blythe. I wanted to make something for the midi and petite sizes too, so here we are. This is the pattern I made. I'll show you the dimensions here. If you'd like to fold a piece of paper in half and copy them down, feel free. I have a couple of fabric strips I made for attaching the strap later. I traced the template onto my outer fabric, including the window outline on just one of these. I also cut out two using this padded lining fabric. I just had scraps that I joined together. You could use quilt batting or wadding along with a lining fabric instead. I cut round my darts, leaving a tab like this. I find it easier this way. I'll fold right sides in and sew up all 8 darts. To reduce bulkiness, I trim away the excess. With right sides facing, I join the front and lining, pinning round the window. Now I'll sew all the way around on the line I drew. I cut a hole from the centre, then cut snips in the remaining seam allowance. Now I'll post the outer fabric through the hole and pin. Next, I'll top stitch about 5mm away from the opening. I grab a piece of clear PVC type plastic for the window and lay it over the lining side. I then stitch round the opening again to the inside of my previous seam. Now the window's secure, I'll trim away the excess. Here I've pinned together the other outer fabric and lining, right sides out. I'll place and pin the 2 straps before stitching them on securely. You could use ribbon or strapping for these. I just folded in the raw edges and made mine from my outer fabric. Here I've sewn a running stitch round the edges of both halves to join the layers. I have a zip here, only about 20 centimetres long, which is the shortest I'd say you could use. Up to 35 centimetres would be ideal. I mark the centre and align with the top of the front half. I pin it and will sew it so it's neat when flipped back. I sew aligning the zip edge with the fabric's raw edge. Next, I'll trim the excess from under the zip and top stitch for a neater inside. I repeat the same steps for the other half. I make sure to align the darts when I pin the zip in place. Now the zip is installed, I just flip the bag round so right sides are facing in. I pin the sides together, with the bottom still slightly gathered by the running stitch. And I'll sew, making sure the zip ends aren't caught in the seam. It can be a little bulky at this stage. If I can't get the seam right up behind the zip, then I will instead hand stitch those bits once it's turned right side out. Now that's sewn, I trim away the excess seam allowance and will then zigzag the raw edges. Looking good. Let's turn it right side out now. Brilliant. With the padded lining, this looks to be a snuggly travelling case for my Middie. What do you think? She fits perfectly inside and can see where she's going from the window. All you need to make it a bag is a detachable strap. These are easily found online in all sorts of colours. If she's not wearing a hat to keep her hair tidy, you can pop a clear plastic strip over her. These usually come with the doll. Use any fabric you like and add trims, lace and embellishments to personalise your own carry case. I sewed a pocket into the lining of my first bag too. I plan to scale up this pattern for Neo Blythe, but until then I'll be using this case to take my Looky Loo Middie with me to BlytheCon UK. See you next week for more about that. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye!